I'm going to be talking about something that's personal to me. This video is going to be a little bit longer than most, but I ask you to hang with me. I want to talk about Kirk Franklin's documentary, and if you haven't watched it and you don't want it to be spoiled, you better turn away now. This is Kirk Franklin. Kirk Franklin is one of the biggest gospel artists of all time. Anything and everything in gospel music, as far as music, every record, he's probably broke it. The one thing I never knew about Kirk is that he was adopted. And recently I started hearing about him having a story. I had a really good friend send me the clip, so I decided to watch. For the first time, Kirk had a camera crew in behind the scenes while he filmed his new record. And it just so happened that everything that's unfolding about his birth father happened while this camera crew was there for his music. So we were able to see behind the scenes how this all affected Kirk. Kirk was raised by himself, by a family member, a close family member, and his mother really had no dealings in his life. She would come in and out from time to time. At this point in the documentary, Kirk hadn't seen his mom in 23 years. Kirk's aunt passes, his mom's sister. Kirk doesn't go to the funeral because he doesn't want to run into his mom. Well, a young lady who Kirk had been knowing since she was little had attended the funeral, and while at the funeral, there was a guy there who just openly just said, hey, I used to date Kirk's mom when we were young. A lot of people heard it. People started looking at him, said he looked like Kirk, had Kirk's nose, ears, same height. So rumors started. All these rumors got swirling around. The lady came back, told Kirk what this guy had said, and by this point, rumors were going everywhere. So the guy, upon hearing the rumors, he takes it upon himself to swab himself and give it to the young lady and say, hey, if Kirk wants to find out if I'm a dad, by all means, here you go. Kirk takes the DNA samples, he gives his DNA, and sure enough, this man is Kirk's father. Kirk proceeds to go over to the man's house. They sit down. The man says he never knew that she was pregnant. He never knew anything that he could even be a possibility that he could be the dad. Him and Kirk talk, they hug, everything's good. At this point, heartwarming story. But this is where things got shaky for me. Kirk leaves his dad's house, goes over to his mom's, right? Hadn't seen her in 23 years, goes over there. He brings the DNA results. This woman opens the DNA results and begins to laugh and say, this is total BS. There ain't no way this man can be your father. No way, no how. Now, Kirk's on a roller coaster. He don't know what to do. Now, he got his dad, a DNA test saying he's the dad. He got the mom saying it ain't possible. Somehow, the man fluked the DNA test. So Kirk said, okay, we're going to do another one. We all going to do it together. So Kirk brings himself, the dad, the mom. They go to a doctor together, do the DNA test in front of each other. And wouldn't you know it, this man is still Kirk's dad. So the dad tells Kirk, man, I got enough love for you. I'm welcoming you in. I hope you welcome me in. Let's build our relationship. Let's work on this. They hug. The daddy leaves. Mom and the aunt sitting at the table. He tells the mom, listen here, mom, in order for us to move forward, you're going to have to go ahead and let's get the truth out here about what's happened here. So I need to hear it from you that this DNA test is straight and this man is my father. This woman sat there and said, nope, I reject these DNA tests. I reject it totally. By this point, I'm standing up. I want to reach through the TV and grab this woman and pull her out onto my floor and just slide her all around it. And what's really sad is this woman has no idea at the trauma she has caused. See, I was adopted, as most people know, and my birth father did the exact same thing. He denies paternity, even though there's a DNA test in front of his face. See, when you're adopted, there's always a chance you can be rejected. I was rejected by both sides of my family. The white side because of my race, and the black side because of shame. Now, thank God, my sister on my mother's side, we've been able to build a relationship, and that's been a blessing. But what can't go untalked about is the trauma that a lot of adults cause to young people by lying to them, and especially lies about paternity. In the black culture especially, there is a history of keeping secrets about paternities. And this is something that goes untalked about, but happens in the community all the time. You have kids that are being raised by their grandparents, but yet being told that this is your real mother, or this is your real father, when the entire time, this is a grandparent. And for some ungodly reason, people think that that's a better way to go. You not only cause devastating trauma to that child as a child, but you cause just as much, if not more trauma to them when they become an adult. We all have things we're ashamed about. We all have skeletons in our closet that we don't like to talk about, me included. But there's some things that we have to stand up and confront head on because they cause so much collateral damage on the backside. Another sad part of this story is the man who raised Kirk, who was in Kirk's life, who Kirk thought was his dad, never wanted to tell Kirk that he wasn't because he didn't want to hurt him. So he would never answer Kirk when Kirk would ask him, was he his real dad? He would never answer his questions. And that caused hostility inside of Kirk. And when this man was on his dying bed, Kirk couldn't get the answer that he wanted. It caused Kirk to be angry and upset with this man, even on his dying bed. And now Kirk has to live with the fact that he hated a man or was upset with a person that hadn't done anything wrong. Unnecessary trauma was caused on this man because of a person's unwillingness to get out of their shame and tell the truth. If you are somebody who's lying about the paternity of your children and not telling the truth, no matter how bad it sounds or looks, you are causing more trauma for that person than you ever will good. And yeah, I know there's some people who are going to say, well, what if your dad's a crackhead or a drug addict or whatever? You mean to tell me you want to tell this kid that his dad's in prison or he's a crackhead? Absolutely. It is better for that young person to know the truth as early as possible so that they can deal with the trauma, heal the wound, and not keep ripping it open every single time the conversation comes up, or ripping that wound open when this child has already dealt with something and now they in their 30s, 40s, or 50s just find out who their birth parents are. So stop running away from the pain and run towards it. And deal with the shame so that you don't cause somebody else unnecessary trauma. Just my thoughts for today. If you haven't seen the documentary and you want to, go to YouTube, Kirk Franklin's Father's Day. I hope what I said today opens some eyes and opens up some hearts because we need to start healing this trauma in our community. Talk to you soon. Peace.